So first and foremost, thank you for participating in today's marketplace webinar. This is a product launch presentation. We are officially bringing to market the Smart Money Concepts and Liquidity software that we've been building for a very long time. And it's a really unique presentation for me as an instructor because there's a backstory to this, and it also is the foundation to my success and also the success of many of the students and also instructors that we've had in the business. We are recording the event and we are ultimately going to send that out to you after. So don't worry, we'll make sure that you get it and you can watch that at your own leisure. If you have any questions, please feel free to type them in the chat box. As always, we're here to help and be of service. And let's get into it. Okay. Smart money concepts is a term that has been coined by the retail public. SMC, or some of you guys might know it as ICT, or if some of you might know it as like market structure or whatever. I like to consider it structure mapping. I've kind of coined the term structure mapping. There's a course that we have inside the academy that everybody here will be able to benefit from. Structure mapping is ultimately where you understand how to map market structure from major, minor in the market. And once you understand structure mapping, you'll understand liquidity, you'll understand major and minor moves, you'll understand impulse and corrective analysis, you'll understand why things happen. I think what the biggest aha moment for me was when I understand structure mapping, everything else just clicked. Everything in the history of my trading career just clicked. It all just started piecing together. Every time I looked at the market, I could understand what was going on. Every time I looked at a higher time frame and then a smaller time frame, everything just clicked. And it's kind of one of those moments where, you really feel like you become a master of something. It's kind of like getting your black belt in martial arts. A punch is a punch. You don't even have to think. Your body just moves in that environment, right? And so I'm going to just share with you the strategies that I've been able to develop using this concept. There's so many different strategies with regards to smart money concepts, but I think what we've done with it is unique to how we do things different, and we're going to share that today. Okay. So, and we're going to be going over discounts and courses and software and all that fun stuff today, but I really want to spend some time on the charts. I want to share some strategies that I think are very, very successful if you were willing to learn them. And for those of you that are not using market structure, this will change the way in which you look at the market, hands down. Okay, so hopefully after today's presentation, you will learn a few things that can change the scope of your trading career. Okay, now we're in the markets, guys. You all know this. You know the drill. Read it, understand it, accept it. If you guys don't, I can't help you. Please take a moment to accept the fact that I'm not your broker, CTA, or advisor. Can't guarantee any performance, and I can't guarantee anything. Right? So, yeah, the markets are risky, very risky. Don't trade without money, can't afford to lose, et cetera, et cetera. Please type a Y in the chat box. You accept the risk and you understand what we're talking about here. Right. Great. Okay, let's get into this. So we're going to talk about the struggle with price action. We're going to share the story behind how this software got developed and what we're doing with it. We're going to talk about features. We're going to spend a lot of time with it in action. I want to really go into some charts. I want to share with you some things so you guys understand what's happening. And then after all this, if you're not sold, well, then I don't know what I'm doing here. I promise you this will be an event that you guys are going to want to watch over and over and over. And you're going to want to watch the course inside the Tickblaze Academy. I'm going to share with you inside of the Tickblaze Academy for those of you that have it, or for those of you that understand the resources available to you. There is a course on market structure inside the Tickblaze Academy. Jim and I spent months building this infrastructure. He filmed it and he helped me roll it out years ago. We refilmed it, and it's inside the school now for you guys to watch. Now, why do I think this is important as I lead into this presentation is that Structure mapping isn't something you just go and look over once. It's something that you need to dedicate the rest of your life learning. Like many of you guys hear me do presentations, and some of you are going to come to presentations and you're going to like some of the things we share. And some of you are going to go to presentations and you're not going to enjoy some of the presentations. Maybe those strategies don't really relate with you or whatnot. But if I'm able to share one tidbit of wisdom that I've learned over a decade of trading and teaching traders globally is that structure mapping is absolutely like air to breathing, like air to your survival. And if you understand this, this doesn't mean you need to trade SMC strategies. This doesn't mean you need to be an ICT or an SMC trader, but you absolutely must master structure mapping. How many of you guys are willing to learn structure mapping? Type a yes if I've got your attention. I'm going to be very dynamic today because it's very important that you have to commit to this. Like it's one of those events where this isn't a strategy. This is like I'm giving you a mulligan. It's the root. It's the foundation in which you build a house on. And if you learn this stuff, I promise you, your entire world will change as a trader. Okay, I think you can sense the passion. I'm going to get into it. Right now, charts are misleading. The reason they're misleading is because every single day it's different. It's a freak show out there. It's a shit show. The markets are a genuine shit show. Like every single day you've got a small day, you've got a big day, you've got a medium day, you've got a range day, a trending day, you got an oscillating day. Next thing you know, you've got new presidents, you got new news, the markets are never going to be a comfortable environment. They're never going to be the same ever again. Every single day is different, which means resistance looks different from one day to the next. Support is in a different location. You're not going to understand why the markets are going to do the things they do, but they just do it, right? And what ends up happening is that traders, they lose a lot of money because they don't understand the story of price. Strip away all the tools and the gadgets and the indicators and the oscillators. If you just load a chart, what are you left with? Like, answer me that. If I just took everything off your chart, what are you left with? The bars, the price bars, whether that's a range bar, a time chart, a volume chart, you are left with candles. Renko bars, it doesn't matter. You're left with price. And the moment you realize that price is king, I want you to write that down. I want everybody to write that down. Price is king. Price is the big daddy of the market. Okay. And let me explain why. Because you're not technically trading any of this. What you're trading is this, and you're doing it over time. And we call that price plus time access. And everything else in here gets fit into price. Price levels. Price levels are all your trading. And the only thing that we're using to determine the market is candles. And then with those candles, we build tools. And those tools create ways of analysis. But here's the key. Everything relies on price. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into the realm of price. Now, most people do it manually. You're going to use TradingView. You're going to use NinjaTrader. You're going to use Tickblaze. You're going to use Quantower. You're going to use whatever charting stack you want to use. Doesn't matter. Price is price is price. It's going to be there. And let me explain this. We used to do this manually. I used to map structure manually. I used to teach this manually. I've taught strategies. I ran a trading room for years and then I hired instructors and I taught those instructors. And what's happened over the years is that we actually taught for a period of time, we ran a room on market structure mapping. And during that time, when we traded those strategies during the tenure of those courses, when we traded, we had incredible success. And the reason why we don't run a room that is stagnant on one methodology is because, as you know, we have a marketplace and the marketplace is constantly evolving and it's pushing new products and new tools. That's just our business model, right? So if all we did was run one trading room with one strategy, well, we wouldn't even be in business. So what I want to share with you is that I want to go back to the roots of where this software kind of came from. And that we used to do this manually, and I used to trade this manually, and we used to have instructors doing this manually. It was a rather time-consuming process. And it just got to the point where we had to code it. And so here's some trades on NinjaTrader. Many of you guys will probably remember that these are NinjaTrader charts. These trades are taken on Ninja. Why? Because it all came from Ninja. Before we bought Tickblaze, before we built the marketplace, before we built all the tools, we were trading on barebone charts, trading SMC and trading market structure mapping. These are literally trades that I took that we have on documents because every single instructor in our company has to document our trades. It's a policy. And so one of the things we do is that when we take trades based on strategies, we keep the evidence. Why? Because it shows us how to do things. It shows our traders why the software does what it does. It tells us why we want to use the tools we use. And here's the thing. I'm all about saving one thing. What do you think I want to save most here? And it's not money. Herbert said time. Time. Yes, if I can save myself time every day and I can make myself faster with my analysis, then I'm basically giving back resources that I never can just waste. So here's trades, and these trades we took, these are big trades, and I'm going to explain where these trades are. I mean, this was a trade here for a big target here. These are really big time frames, by the way. These are 4-hour candles. So these are really, really big trades, and we're going to get into time frames and which time frames are best for structure and which time frames are noise, etc. We're going to get into all that. We're going to talk about where liquidity is and where the market gives you good trades, etc. But we're going to talk about that. Now, here's some more trades, right? Really, really good reactions. You say, well, what you see, really you take very little heat on these trades. Yeah, that's because we know where to place the entries and we knew where to place the software and how to make that work. And so here's some more trades, right? We've here's some other trades. Now this is a long time ago. I mean, God, this is going back so long, right? And the problem is time. The problem is time. Like having to constantly mark up your charts and having to go through a watch list of markets is it's just inconsistent. Like your drawings are never going to be the same. You're always going to be having to one day you draw it like this and one day you draw it like that. And maybe this time you do that. And there's that level of subjectivity that comes in. And it's really, really dangerous to a trader because getting things wrong can cost you money. So we coded it. Okay. We coded it. Now, there is a wicked amount of ways in which you can read price, but I'm here to save you 10 years. Okay. If I can give you all of the golden nuggets in 30 minutes or less, what have I given you? How many of you guys would say that I've given you guys back time? Exactly. Because if I can give you all of the things that I've learned and made mistakes with and actually show you what I know makes a lot of money, then that's a gift. And that's what mentors are for, right? I learned from mentors, I pass it down. I pass it down. Maybe one day you guys will pass it down to somebody else. But here's the key. Trading is a breeding ground for mistakes, and price action is where you can fix those mistakes. This is where trend breakers come from. This is where liquidity sweeps come from. This is where 3BPs come from. This is where everything we do from supply and demand to fair value gaps to breaker blocks to order blocks to everything is coming from structure mapping. And so what we're going to do is we're going to go over the software. Now, the software is going to do everything for you from a price action perspective. That's a luxury. Being able to identify weak structure versus major structure versus internal structure, boss breaks, everything. We're going to show you the key turning points that are going to identify the impulse moves. And then we're going to show you how to identify order blocks, fair value gaps, breaker blocks. We're going to show you how to do inverted fair value gaps, everything that you can possibly imagine. Then I'm going to show you how to identify premium and discounted locations within boss structures and where the best trades are going to happen. And then we're going to basically help you basically form strategies around this. Why? Because I'm not here to give you a strategy. I'm here to give you an entire toolbox of strategies today. I think this is the best part about today's presentation is that I have a list of trading systems that fit into this. And so I'm going to give you all of those trading systems. I'm going to give you every single strategy that we have ever done with price action. Tomorrow, we're going to do an AMA, which is going to be an indicator tutorial. And then we have a dedicated training strategy masterclass that we're going to give for free for everybody that's using this software. It's something we've never done before on any other launch presentation. We've decided because there's so many ways to trade this system and this kind of approach that we want to break it down in a strategy class. And I'm going to have me, Jim, and Jeff, and our entire education team come to that event, and we're going to basically go through all the different strategies. Now, I'm going to give you a primer of that today, and that strategy masterclass is free, by the way. If you buy the software and you want to learn it, it's open for you guys, right? And so this is kind of like a bird's eye view with the price scrunched up. We're going to talk about where the levels are. One thing to note is that like these sell locations and these buy locations, this is just one of the strategies. So we're not going to focus on what this chart looks like. We're going to actually go into the meat and we're going to basically show you all the different strategies. The nice thing is that we're going to automate your market structure process for you so you don't have to do it. The big thing I can tell you is that you need to learn BOSS. BOS. BOSS is the key. It is the key to everything, and we're going to get into this. And it's really where the higher time frames make the shifts. And let me explain something. Everybody thinks that the higher time frame is the big kahuna. It is from a place of strength. Higher time frame equals strength. Okay. But what you don't realize is that the smaller time frame will always lead the higher time frame. Now we're going to get into some kinds of like really how it all pieces together. So let me explain something. Have you guys ever used like a chart? Let me just grab a cursor here. Let me just show you something. Break this down for you guys. So let's just give you a little bit of a lesson on like oscillator analysis, and we're going to show you something here. So let's say I got a chart, okay? And this is the 60-minute chart, okay? And we'll just say it's a 60-minute chart. And price is going up, and price is going down, and price going up, and price going down. And down below here, there's an oscillator, okay? And most people are going to put the oscillator on the chart, and it's going to do this, and it's going to do that, and it's going to do this. But everybody's going to use the oscillator on the default chart. This is the reason why nobody makes any money using oscillators and using indicators, because the reality is if you're using a 60-minute chart for your decision making, you need to go down into a smaller time frame to use the indicators for timing. Why? Because the smaller time frames lead to the bigger time frames. So if you're trying to make decisions off of a 60-minute chart or a 4-hour chart or even a 5-minute chart, you can't rely on the oscillator on that time frame because lag will kick in. And when you look at market structure mapping, when you start to look at these tools, when you start to realize you put this on a big time frame and you start mapping out the big picture structure, then we can go down in smaller time frames using the indicators and time the entries in these locations. What's really cool is that we're going to look at boss breaks on smaller time frames to tell us how the big time frames are going to kick in and give you the big moves. And this is the difference between market mastery and, just being a slave to the market. Now, what's really powerful about this is that there's no bias. Like this is ultimately like the compass to the entire globe of assets. Like if you gave me some random stock on the Indian stock market, structure mapping applies. If you gave me a currency futures that's an exotic pair with some random coin that I've never heard of or whatever, structure mapping would work on a chart. You want to look at Bitcoin, you want to look at the euro dollar, you want to look at the S&P, you want to look at crude, you want to look at anything. What we do here today applies to those assets. This is why I strongly believe that by doing this, it's the best thing you could give yourself this year. I think it's one of those things like it's like investing in university. Like I'm not a big believer of university because I believe a lot of people go to school and they waste their life for a job that never pays. Trading pays. So if you're going to go to university for trading, this is that. Like this is the course you need to take. And the cool part is that most of you already have access to the Tickblaze Academy. Most of you are going to go through a prop firm and then we give it to you for free. So count your blessings because people on YouTube sell these types of courses for tens of thousands of dollars. And I'm here to give it to you for free. And I'm here to share that this is inside the Tickblaze Academy right now, and you can have access to this. And when you use the software today, you'll be able to benefit. Now, inside the course, you get multi-time frames. We're going to use a curve. This is very, very important. You get access to multi-time frames, big picture and small picture levels, market structure, intro to SMC, strong versus weak levels, major and minor internal structures, boss versus change of character, bar close versus wick methods, and then structure mapping. Then we go into liquidity, liquidity sweeps and inducements, supply and demand, fair value gaps, balance versus unbalanced auctions, order blocks, advanced order blocks, order block refinement, order block selection, breaker blocks, entry types, and then avoiding pitfalls. This is all to do with structure mapping. On top of that, I'm going to give you 5 or 6 trading setups to use with structure mapping so that you can then time the market like a sniper. What we're going to do is we're going to look at using higher time frame charts for the best structure. And then I'm going to show you how to go down in time frames. So when we get to the entry location, we're going to use the smaller time frame for mastery. And this is how you time the market. This is where I believe market timing is absolutely possible. I remember I was in a course. I'm going to tell a story. I got in trouble one time. My corporate finance teacher back in college was the ex-CFO for Levi's Jeans. And I remember he was teaching me a course on valuation, how to value a company, discounted cash flow analysis and how to basically raise money, et cetera, et cetera. And the whole time he's teaching the course, I'm sitting there trading stocks. He gave me shit and he kicked me out of his class. And yeah, but I said, hey, but Doc, I said, I'm making money. He's like, yeah, but I'm trying to teach you. He's like, yeah, but I'll do that later. I'm making money, right? So, long story short, I feel like if you're going to learn something, this is the one thing you want to learn. And if you're going to learn to make money, this is going to help you make a lot of money, right? At that time, if I would have thought my instructor was improving my ability to make a lot of money, I would have listened to him, right? Right now, this is the type of course that will improve your ability to make a lot of money. How many of you guys are willing to watch this? I want to know how many of you guys are in the right mindset right now. How many of you guys can commit to watching this? It's free for those of you that have the Academy. And for those of you that don't have the Academy, just go buy a prop account with Prop Shop Trader or on Thursday next week with Elite Trader Funding. And we're launching a bunch of prop firms, and all of the prop firms that we're launching get the Academy. And what's going to happen is you're all going to get this for free. So, I mean, it's a gift. This is one of those things that's I really wish that I didn't. I remember when I paid my very first trading course, I think I paid like 20 grand for it. And it didn't even teach me maybe 1/10 of what's in the first 2 lessons, right? Like it's free, Joe. Yeah, you don't need to buy this, Joe. This is a free course, brother. Yeah, I'm trying to give value here. This is inside the Tickblaze Academy. Yes, it really is. Yeah, it's here. It's inside the Tickblaze Academy. It's a module inside the price action section. Most people just don't know it's there. Yeah, and I'm telling you, it's the backbone to everything for price. Yeah. So here's kind of a very, very lean version of what we call structure mapping. This is very dialed down. There's a whole lot more functions, but what we're going to really focus on is the boss breaks. And boss breaks are break of structure, major structure. And then you have chalk, which is what we consider a change of character. Chalk is breaks of structure inside of a major swing. So when you look at this, like let's say I have a price action and I have a swing like this and it goes like this is a major swing, right? And then like that's a major swing. But inside of this leg, you might have, a price and goes up like this and goes up like this before it breaks. When there's a difference between major structure and minor structure, And the difference is the software will do it for you. So if you see here these big blue lines, these are considered major structure levels. These are boss breaks. Inside of those levels are change of characters, and those are considered minor structure. And so we really want to be paying attention to boss breaks. I'm not a big believer of change of characters. Change of character is used for entry timing, but boss breaks are where basically the magic happens. And why? Because with a boss break, you can identify all your strategies. All your strategies uh, basically will be based on big breaks of structure. And we're going to talk about that. Okay. Now, here's a great example of like some of the software and what it's going to do is it's going to plot your boss breaks. It's going to plot your weak highs, your internal lows, your strong low, and it's going to tell you information. Now, some of this information may not make sense to you right out the gates because you're new or you haven't learned this yet, but there's a big difference between internal highs, weak highs, and strong highs and lows. Like a strong high and low is a very important low. Like this low is more important than every single low on this chart. And it has to do with the fact that it was able to break structure. This low was the low that led to the impulse leg. And so when you start to realize that the software is going to identify key inflection points for you to understand why those inflection points matter. To the untrained eye, you may not understand what a boss break is, or what a change of character is, or what a strong high or low means. But when you start to realize how price reacts around these areas, you're going to start to realize that that's everything, right? And here's a great example with the zigzags applied. And you can see that as we break structure, as soon as we break the structure, it will always pull back inside of the leg, but it's normally where you're going to get your higher lows or your lower highs structures, right? If I'm in an uptrend, right? Normally you're going to break structure. You're going to break structure. And that is how we are going to start looking at the SMC concept is that I don't like to use the word SMC. I'm just using it because it's an industry jargon term. I'd like to just call it structure mapping because that's exactly what it is. And as we start to go through these, the software is going to show you where the key inflection points are, where the lows are, where the highs are that matter. And so a good example would be as like if this low broke here and went down, that is a key reason to be paying attention to a shift in the market. Why? Because the whole time we never had a strong low until here. And then if that strong low gets violated, that's normally when the bigger trend starts to happen, right? You'll notice here we didn't have a strong low until this plotted that, which tells us the story of the trend. And so it's really interesting to see that the software is going to tell you where to be paying attention to major areas of interest and why. Now, the software is also going to plot support and resistance levels. These are one tool. I think they can be very efficient for execution. I think they can really, really be good trade locations, but I also don't think that it's enough. It's not the only story. I think if all you did was trade these levels, you're missing 90% of what's possible with this type of software. But it's built in and it's a part of the tool. So we will identify support and resistance off of strong highs and lows. A strong high and low is the only thing that breaks major structure. So if I break a major structure level, I'm going to draw support and resistance off of the strong lows. And those areas are where we get really, really big trade locations, right? Where you're going to see the market respect strong highs and lows. You're going to start to see big, big reactions off the strong highs and lows. And this is the difference between understanding good areas to trade and bad areas to trade, right? You could place your trade all over the place, or you could choose to be more selective with your area of interest. Now, the software will also identify the auction. Now, the auction is going to be moving. This auction will identify 25%, 50%, 75% pullback. So let's say I have a big auction here. This becomes a market structure is coming down. It breaks the structure, right? what we'll do is we will then wrap an auction around this entire leg so that you do not take trades until you get down to be in the cheap locations. The software will tell you where the auction is. It'll look differently on a chart when I show you, but I'm going to break this down piece by piece. Now you're going to see the market is going to do a lot of different things. We're going to go into examples. It's going to give you trade locations, but that's really not what I'm here to do today. I'm not here to just show you these trades. This has been the secret to my success right here. And this list is everything that I've ever mastered in price action trading. And so my goal today is to show you some of these setups because this is the foundation to really everything that you could possibly want to master with price. So let's kind of talk about this. OB and BB stands for order blocks and breaker blocks. So an order block is a different way of looking at supply or demand. A breaker block is when price breaks those and retests them from the opposing side. These are fair value gaps. Fair value gaps are imbalances in price. Then you have inverted fair value gaps, which are basically when price breaks the fair value gaps and retests the opposing side. We have volume point of controls, which basically are your point of control leading the boss breaks. Then you have the value area high and value area low profile order blocks. Then you have VWAP trades off of the boss breaks. And all of this is founded in market structure map. So instead of just relying on one trade setup, this software will produce 10 different trading systems. It is literally the only software in the industry that you can possibly need for price action analysis. And what I'd like to do is I'd like to go in and I'd like to talk about this. Are you guys interested in looking at some charts? Give me a yes that I've got your attention. Yes, would you like to go in and take a look at some examples? Yes? Great. Now let's do that. Oh, and I've got a sneak peek at the Tickblaze web trader coming today. Don't worry. So, okay. So here's a great example of the software on a 30-minute chart. Okay. And like if I zoom out a bit, I'm going to zoom out just a little bit. Okay. It's doing a whole lot. But what's really important that you understand is that what it's doing is it's telling you the story of the market. So if you notice, like we literally just broke this higher high right here. And you see this boss here, that is a major swing high. So when we do a boss break, whenever you break structure, that tells us a big story. Normally, a lot of people rely on oscillators to tell them the bias. Most really experienced traders will rely on price to tell them the bias. They will tell you that, hey, I want to see price making higher highs and higher lows, or et cetera. But I'll give you an example. Like, here's a great example of you got a downtrend right here. And to the untrained eye, if you were looking at that downtrend right here, you're probably thinking, oh, I need to be in a downtrend. And then you get down here to this major area and you see all these wicks defending the boss line. This tells a story. And most people don't even know that that's there. They don't even realize that this 3 or 4 wicks is the foundation to the big push to the upside. That's the entire foundation of this entire move. And when this market couldn't break that boss and took out this boss, that's the whole story that most people don't even realize. This is already priming the uptrend. Now you can do this on any time frame. It's all relative to your view of the market. But I'm a big believer that you have multiple boss breaks in one direction. If you're breaking 1 and 2 boss breaks, you're in an uptrend. If you're breaking multiple boss breaks to the downside, you're in a downtrend. We couldn't. If you take a look, this was the first boss break. This was the second. Had we have broken this, we would have gone into a very big downtrend, but we couldn't. And any price action trader that's going to identify the market and tell you the story, the software is going to do it for you. Now, here, let me share a few things. Okay. We can do this on 5-minute charts, which can be very, very beneficial for day traders. So what I'm going to do, you'll see there's an auction in here, and I'm going to go in and turn the auction off. I'm going to go in and actually turn the auction off. So let's just turn it off for a second. Okay, let's just do that. And I'm actually going to go in and turn the zones off. So you can see here we've got a drop down here. This is a pretty sophisticated toolbar here. Like this is a sophisticated piece of software, and you can pretty much do anything you want. If I want to show the lines, no lines, I don't have to. Swing labels on and off. If I want to look at trend position, I can turn the trend on and off. I can pretty much do anything I want in here. If I want to map out the zones, I can turn off the zones. I want to turn off the zones for a minute because here's what I want to do. Let's go back and teach you the easiest strategies possible. Okay. If I take a look at this, how many of you guys look at VWAP? How many of you guys look at VWAP in the market? Yes. I'm here to tell you one of the most profitable trades that you can ever trade is a VWAP break of structure retest off of a boss break. I'm here to tell you that I'll just give you an example. If I take this swing high that led this boss break right here, and I use that as my anchor point for the VWAP, if I come in here and I grab an anchored VWAP right here, anchored VWAP, and I put it on one of these highs, look at the trade right here. Only because it's on a boss break. Take a look at this. I just pick a random swing. I don't need to even look. I know that if I just pick a random swing and I take it from the high of a boss break, I already know that when we break a boss level, if I wrap a VWAP around the swing highs that lead to that or the swing lows that lead to a break of structure, and I wrap an anchored VWAP on here, you are going to get incredible trades because you're trading volume weighted average price from major highs that are breaking structure. And so when you wrap a VWAP around the anchor points, you don't want to just wrap around here or here or here, or just random freaking highs and lows. Everybody gets that all wrong. If I look at right now and I look at, okay, this could be the anchor point here, but these two also broke the boss break. Like if you think about it, this is a major swing high. So if I'm going to wrap a VWAP on here, put this, okay, I can do this, and we're going to get major pullbacks in here. Like when the market comes in here, this is going to be a major trade location. Why? Because these are the swing lows that broke the strong high. This is the key. This is absolutely the key. And if you take a look here, if I take this low, just from this low, and I wrap an anchored VWAP right from this low, watch. Boom. Look at that trade. Like just from the anchored low, if all you did was trade anchored VWAPs on boss breaks, you're going to make a shitload of money. I know this. I've tested it. I've tested it. It's mad amounts of money. It's a trend trading system that uses breaks of structure. And every time you get a boss break, wrap an anchored VWAP. Like here, you got a boss break. Boom, boom. Wrap an anchored VWAP. Right here. Boom. There's your support line. It held that support line the whole time up. Look at that. You just anchor the low that led to a boss break. Anchor the low that led to a boss break. That's it. That is a strategy in and of itself. Look at this. I anchor the low that led to a boss break. Boom. Boom. It's really that simple. You need the software to tell you where the boss breaks are because you're going to have a lot of highs and lows. And Sharpshooter says that's 85% the way that I look at the markets. It's almost foolproof. Absolutely. Absolutely. And let me explain this. If I just zoom out, not every swing high and low is created equal. You can see that if all I did was turn off all of the swing highs, swing lows, turn off the, let's do the change of character. Let's do this, none. So take a look at that. So all I'm doing is looking at boss breaks. And if all I need to do is identify, okay, when a boss break happens, I grab an anchored VWAP and I basically plot that, right? Like I could come back here and I can grab any high or low that led to a boss break And I promise you, you are going to have killer trend trades. Now you can do that on any time frame. You can do a boss break on a 15-minute chart, right? And it pulls back. You could do that on a 5-minute chart. It's all going to be relative to the chart you're using. It doesn't matter. How many of you guys think you could do that? If I could give you the software and all you did was put this lean version of just boss breaks on your chart and you plot an anchored VWAP, okay? Absolutely. Absolutely. It's an incredible strategy. Okay, let's go back and take a look at another concept. I want to talk a little bit about the breaker blocks and fair value gaps. Okay, and order blocks. Okay, so I'm a big believer that the banks are in control of the market, right? I've always believed that the big money controls the market, right? So the big money doesn't trade on a 5-minute or a 15-minute chart. They very rarely come down into the day trading realm, right? They're going to be on a 4-hour, right? They're going to be on a 60-minute maybe for timing, but they're not going to be on the 5 and the 30 and stuff like that. They'll be on the 30 for the profiles because auction traders use profile charts. But very seldom will you see big banks be doing any big decisions down on the small time frames. They're going to make their decisions on the higher time frame. So if you're going to trade levels, okay, one of the reasons why traders make so much mistakes and they lose money is that what they do is they will try to use supply and demand or support and resistance and all that stuff on well, just basically on smaller time frames. And the problem is that's not where levels are. Like you're not going to have true supply and demand on smaller time frames. So let me give you an example of going up to a higher time frame chart for a second, okay? And let me just kind of explain a few things. I'm going to go into the software, going to turn off supply and demand for a second, and we're just going to look at boss breaks for a second, okay? On a big time frame, okay? On a big time frame. So if you want to trade big levels and you're interested in actually, let me just turn off the trend direction. I'm going to just do that. Show trend. Okay, perfect. So all I care about, I'm just going to turn off the swing lines. That's no, I want that. I need these, and these off. No, I want those. Okay, right there. All I care about, truthfully, like I'm here to save you 10 years of study. I only look at boss breaks. I've watched this for years. I've studied it. I've been in many environments where I've watched very profitable price action traders that have traded very large accounts, and I've been privileged to learn from very experienced traders with price. I'm here to pass down the knowledge. The only thing that matters is major structure. Major structure is all that matters. So if I'm going to trade supply or demand or support or resistance or order blocks or whatever the case may be, all you need to do is you need to identify breaks of structure or major boss breaks. Now, I'm going to go back over here and we're just going to start and just look here for a second. This is a 4-hour chart, okay? Most day traders don't live in this time frame. No problem. You don't have to. But let's say you want to trade and make big trades as a day trader, okay? If I'm up here and I'm in this territory right now, all I need to do is zoom in, okay? And what I can do is I can say, okay, whenever I have a boss break, I now have the environment to plan my trades. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how we would do this. Okay, I'm going to go here and I'm just going to, let's say this was the boss break like this. Okay, you guys with me? So there's the boss break. This low is very important. This line is even more important, right? We broke major structure. So what we're going to do is whenever we have a break of structure, we can now go here to this list and I can choose which trade do I want to take. Because with every single break of structure, there's going to be one of these trades. There's going to be an anchored VWAP trade. So I could anchor my VWAP here. And like I said, you can do that on a 5-minute chart, or I could literally do this on the 4-hour. Let's just see it on the 4-hour for a second. And let's see where that gave the trade. There was a really good bounce out of this. It held support. Do you see this? It came in here. Now, this was the low, right? You can basically see how that works. You grab that anchored low, it plotted the volume, and basically this has been the support of the market. Now, I don't like trading VWAPs on big time frames because VWAPs are a daily tool. VWAP is meant for daily analysis. So what I would prefer to do is use higher time frames for levels. So how do we do that? Well, let's go through this. An order block, okay, an order block is the last down bar before the break of structure. Okay. So let me explain this. This is gold. I'm giving you gold right now. Okay. Whenever you have a boss break, I want you to look for the last down candles before the break. Why do you think that is? What do you think this is? Okay. What do you think this is? Anybody here? What do you think this is? Yes, it's an order block. It's inducement. This is the market, the last amount of selling that could contain price before the market broke a major high. This is what we call order blocks. It's the foundation of a really, really, really good trade brewing. So if I'm here and I see a boss break, I'm going to come in here and I'm going to take the horizontal zone tool and I'm going to map a zone around the boss order block. That's an order block. Okay. Now let me explain something. When you get to this trade and you buy this, that's called an order block. When this trade is over and it breaks through here and comes up here, that's called a breaker block. So you actually have two trades on this level. Now, most traders won't trade a breaker block until they're in a downtrend, but I'm just telling you how this works. Now let's continue down. Price is going to come in and they're going to react from this. This is an incredible trade opportunity. Why? Because it's a 4-hour chart. And when you come in here, this area is where you can start your analysis. This is where you can then go down to a 30-minute time frame or a 5-minute chart and time your entry. This is the major location for the big trades. Does this make sense? You guys understand me with this? I'm trying to give you where the big levels are, okay? You're going to see this is the level that held the market. It's the last order block that led to a break of structure. Now, we just had another break of structure, okay? We just did it. Just happened. Well, guess what? Guess what, Charlie? We have another order block right here, okay? But that's way too much risk. But that's where the demand is. That is where the support is. So we go down in time frames and we identify. Okay, I'm going to go here and turn all this other stuff off. This is the whole part of having really, really intuitive software. I mean, I can just do whatever I want and turn everything off and see what I need to see. And right, let's go here and turn it off, right? So like I said, I love just looking at the charts with boss breaks. It's the cleanest view. What do you see in here? Inside of the zone, I already know this is going to be a huge trade. I already know this is going to be a huge trade when we retest this level, but it's just way too much risk. So this is how you dial down and you say, look, there's an order block right inside this order block, right here. It's the same order block on a 60-minute chart. Look, we just broke structure, but it's an order block inside of a 4-hour order block. This is where big ass trades happen. And this is where you dial in and you really become a sniper of the market. You literally get a chance to come in and go like this. So there's the zone inside of a zone. And now you're in day traders territory. This is where you start saying, okay, if we get back in here, this is where I can now go into a smaller time frame and I can use a 5-minute oscillator. I can look at an RSI. If I want to go in here and add an RSI in here, I'll show you this. So this is exactly how you would go and make a shitload of money on this trade. I'm giving you the next big trade on the S&P. Essentially, this is the next big trade for the S&P. Let's go in here and go to indicators, momentum. Let's add the RSI. And I'm telling you right now that when this market gets back into this zone, okay, change the settings a little bit to like a faster RSI like that. Watch when the market gets down into this level. Okay. When we get down in here, just watch momentum. You're gonna have a massive trade here. This is gonna be a huge banger of a trade. And it all started from the 4 hour order block because why? Because that's where the major structure is. And you may not want to have to do all this homework. You don't have to. The boss software tells you where it is. You then just identify your order blocks, and there is a killer trade. Now, sometimes you won't have an order block, you'll have a fair value gap. What's a fair value gap? A fair value gap is an imbalance in price. So when you have fair value gaps, you may not have an order block. Here's a great example. Okay. Let's go back and find one. I mean, I can go and show you one here. It's like right here. Here's a fair value gap. Okay. So here's a fair value gap. And what this is here's the order block, the last down candle that led to the break of structure. But there's a huge imbalance here. Like you see how like this is the high of this candle and this is the high of this candle. We actually have free software inside the Tickblaze community. You can install it. It's called Fair Value Gaps, FVGs. It's in the marketplace. You can go to the free section and get it. And what it is it'll plot your zones here. So you can technically add a zone here if you wanted to, and it would do it for you. But you don't just want to trade every single zone. You want to trade the imbalance that came from the break of structure. There's a fair value gaps all over the place. You don't just trade them all over. You only want to trade them that led to the break of structure. I'm telling you, after 10 years of watching price, this is where the gold is. This is ultimately the fair value gap right here. That is the fair value gap. Why, how do, like, if I'm looking at it like this and I broke structure and I have a fair value gap right here, price is going to come in and test that and it's going to leave. And when it breaks that, it's going to come down and test the order block like this. And so I'm here to tell with you, like, if you're looking at the strategy list, you have order blocks, then you have fair value gaps. This is the key to really, 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 really big trades. Now, if you don't want to do it on the 4 hour, you don't have to. You can come down in here and you can do it on the 60, or you can do it right on other time frames. It doesn't matter. Let me go in and show you an example here. Here's a great example. Okay. Strong high led to a boss break. Okay. All I look at is boss breaks. Like there was a boss break and then there was a boss break. So this is a rotation, right? We're in an uptrend, boss break, pull back, pull back, pull back, boss break, new direction, boss break. When we shift the direction, the last up candle that led to the break of structure, wrap your zones around this, guys. I'm telling you, this is after years of doing this, I'm telling you, it's just gold. It's really gold. On a 60-minute chart, it's gold. Like it's, watch. There's the liquidity grab. Watch this. They swept the liquidity off the high to go into the order block that led to the boss break. Where do you think that move came from? That was the big, big move. It's not by accident. You can see that the first move out of here was right here on that candle. You can see this candle opened here, okay, traded all the way up and traded all the way down. It traded right here into the order block that led to the boss. And they're even better when they sweep liquidity like this. So if all you did was watch for boss breaks on the 60-minute time frame as a day trader, and you traded sweeps in order blocks, holy shit, you're going to make a lot of money, man. Like it's really, really, really profitable. Let me just like, it's not about me trying to convince you. You try to prove me wrong and I'll buy you the biggest stake. I'll buy you this software. If you can prove me wrong, I'll pay for your license, right? Watch this. I'm going to go and add a few more days to this so you can see. This is exciting. On the 60-minute chart, this is exciting. Let me show you this. Okay. So let's go in here and let's do the swing here. I think we need to go back just a little bit. Go back just a little bit here. Okay, so let's do this. So if I'm looking at this boss here, okay, and I ultimately have this boss break right there, okay, there's the break of structure. There was the last down move before the break of structure. This is a golden nugget trade, guys. Like it's a gift trade. It's a trade that keeps on paying. It's a trade that makes a lot of money. If I go in here and I just grab the horizontal zone around those last two candles, where did the next big move happen? That's a 60-minute chart. Gap down into the order block that led the boss break, and Bob's your uncle. Big retest, another big trade. I would only trade the first touch, which is right here, but you guys get the point, right? And interesting enough, it came even down further into this zone, which led to this trade. And you can actually go level into a level if you choose to, but the answer is boss break. So like everybody's going to want to draw support and resistance all over the frickin' place. Yeah, well, it's not going to work. And I'm here to tell you it's not going to work forever because it can't. Boss breaks are everything. It's the key to everything. And so my suggestion would be is that use the software, turn the settings so that you can see the boss breaks just like this. And every single other strategy makes a lot of money within the boss breaks. Like if you take this entire list and you just do this from the boss breaks, it's all that matters. You just need the boss breaks. And it's not easy to identify boss breaks, like having to map out all the mapping of the bigger time frames, the smaller time frames, the internal zigzags, the big zigzags. That's the hard part of the software. In fact, it's really hard to code. We would have released this earlier, but it's not easy to code this. The engine behind the structure mapping is very, very challenging. And so, if you look at a different market, like if I want to go and just take a look at, say, gold, for example, let's just look at gold. Yeah. Let's go see what Mr. GC is doing. I'm just grabbing a random market. I haven't even looked at it. I have no idea what it's going to do or nothing. Okay. Nothing. So let's go in here. We've got a boss break here down. Okay. So here's a great example. We broke down. We're in a downtrend. Okay. So this is a great example. Boss break down. Last up candle that led to the boss break. You see it? Last up candle that led to the boss break. This was the boss break. This is the last up candle. When you're looking for downs, when you're shorting, you're looking for the inducement up, right? There's a bearish order block. Watch what happens. I draw a zone around the last up candle that led to the boss break, and there's your trade. Boom. Now, that's a 60-minute chart. As a day trader, that's a great move. This is a great move. Look at this. And here's the nice thing is you have a lot of time to plan these trades. You're not like on a 60-minute chart, you can do really, really good day trades. You can really, really you could do this on a smaller time frame. But as you start going down to, let's say, a 30-minute chart. Yeah, let's do a 30-minute. Okay, now you're starting to get, let me just make this little, I'm going to save this as a template. Bradley says this is a game changer. Yes, it really is a game changer. It really is. So watch this. I'm going to just do the 30-minute. Just going to template. I'm going to save the template, load it up. Give me a second here. SMC boss only. So watch this. So as we start to go down in time frames, okay, you would have had it on a 30-minute here too. So there's the 30-minute. You would have seen it here. And here's a great example of like we just broke the boss break here on the 30, but there's no down candles here. You see this? None. There's been no inducement. This is it right here. So this entire leg down was that inducement. And there was no down candle here. So there's nothing here. Now you might say this here is the demand zone, but look here. There was no order block. When there's no order block, we have a few other aspects. I guess I could probably go back in here to the slide and probably put two more. Let's do boss, supply and demand, long and short, because technically you can do the same thing. Everything is to do with the boss. Like the boss is king. So if I'm looking at this, I can see a couple things here. I can see a rally base rally. I can also see fair value gap here, fair value gap here. You see this? So when I don't have an order block, I have demand or demand in the fair value gap. But it all has to do with the fact that this was a boss break. So I only look for the trades when I have an opportunity in the leg that created the boss break. Why? This is where the best easy trades are. Sure, I could teach you all of the ICTs and the turtle soup trades and the freaking liquidity 1, 2, 3, you got me trade and all the other shit that you see all over YouTube. I mean, it's just so much convoluted information. It's not going to make you any money. It's going to drive you to an analysis paralysis. It's going to make you frustrated. All you need to do is wait for the software to break structure, give a boss break, and then locate areas of key interest. So I would basically draw my levels around this. There's a fair value gap trade here. I'll just do this. There's a fair value gap that led to this. Look at that. It's a great day trade on a 30-minute chart. There's a demand zone here. This is demand zone here. It's a level on a level, right? You can see it. Like this is where the simplest money is. I'm only about making money in a very fast way with less homework. I don't want to go and map out a bunch of levels. I don't have time to go and do all that. Like I'm a busy guy. And you guys are probably busier than I am, right? So here's the thing, right? When I get an opportunity to trade the levels, I'm going to trade the levels. Let's go to a different market. Let's go to the 60-minute chart and let's just take a look at crude oil. I mean, I'm just picking markets out of the sun here now. I mean, it doesn't matter which one we look at. Like remember we haven't looked at the 5 minute and doing anchored VWAPs. I think if you're looking for a scalp trade, the anchored VWAP is everything. If you're looking for like here's a great example. Here's a great example of a short that just happened on the 60-minute chart. Okay. So let's explain this. Boss break. Boom. Okay. So as soon as this candle closed here, that would have been the boss break. Okay. So as soon as this big impulse bar closed, that's when we could plan the trade. Okay. So crude just closed down on this. You see this? Everybody understand? I'm just showing you, you could give me any market and I'll just go right to the trade because it's that simple. But I use the boss break to tell me everything. I would literally just have my charts, and you can actually do this on any strategy that you're using. Like even if you're scalping or using other time frames, using other markets or whatever, you could literally just load this template, shows you the boss breaks, and then you know where there's a really big trade happening. So here's a great example. What do you see here? There's no inducement. There's no up candle. There's no up candle here, 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 here. But there is a drop-based drop pattern, which is what? What is a drop-based drop for all of you supplier demand traders in here? A drop-based drop is what? It's a supply pattern. So there's a supply zone right here. Drop-based drop. Right at the boss break. Draw your levels. Super easy. There's the short. Boom. Like, it's incredible accurate. Only at the boss breaks. Write this down. I will only trade the level at the boss breaks. I know, Herbert. It's crazy. I'm going to open up the chat for a second to everybody. Everybody in here, do me a favor. Go to the chat box right now. Switch the to and go to everybody. Switch the drop down to everyone so that everybody can see your chat. How many of you guys think that you can learn this? Yes or no? You load our new SMC boss software. You literally just load the lean template with boss breaks. I'm going to give you the two most profitable setups right now. Two of them, okay? So trade number one is the anchored VWAP from the boss break. Number two is the order block, fair value gap, or supplier demand pattern at the boss break. That's it. I don't want you doing anything else. You load the boss break. Boom. That's it. It's that easy. I believe that every single one of you can make a shitload of money doing this because it's super easy and it's really clean, very clean. And I would do that on 60-minute timeframes or 30-minute timeframes as a day trader, 30 and 60 for day trading. If you're looking for the big kahunas, you can use the 4 hour, but I mean, most traders don't live in that. I mean, 30 and 60 minutes are really decent higher timeframes for day traders, right? I mean, that's where the moves are, right? It takes out the noise. Exactly. Let's take a look at the euro. I haven't even looked at the euro in months. I'll just grab it, 60. Let's just see what the euro's doing. I mean, I bet you I can go find the first trade just by it's easy. Wow, look at this. It's proving the concept. Look at this. Look at this. I can just show you right here. There's the boss break. So there's the boss break. Get the boss. What do we do? And so there's a boss break right here. As soon as the boss break happens, look at that little teeny blue candle here. Look at this right here. I just draw a box around it. Just draw a box around that right there, from there to there. Boom. That's a 60-minute short right there. That's a badass short for a day trade. Look at that. Like as a prop trader, that's incredible. Like boom, 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 boom. That's a 60-minute run. And all you got to do is wait for boss breaks. You don't even have to be worrying about this stuff. You just watch your chart. Oh, I don't have a boss break yet. I don't do anything. Look at, we just broke this boss break to the other side. And what do we got? Rally, base, rally. You don't see this wick candle here. Look at this. This wick candle is a base. If you know anything about supply or demand, or if you know anything, there's a supply and demand lesson in the course. So you'll be able to, it's a demand pattern. Rally, base, rally. Well, guess what? If I draw a little box around that candle right here, this candle, as we closed here, as soon as we closed here, I draw a box around the high of this to the low of this. I promise you, you're going to get a massive trade out of this. Why? Because I've just seen it happen over and over and over and over again. Come on, guys. Like I'm giving you 10 years of my experience. It took me so many years to find these trades. And then I found it and it all clicked. And the reason it clicked is I don't really give a shit about every single move in the market. I give a shit about the boss breaks because the boss breaks are where the big freaking trades are. And they don't need to, you don't, this is the, Bradley says this is the best system yet. Well, everybody has an opinion, Bradley, but I'm here to help. Okay. So watch this boss break, right? Here's a boss break. We get the boss break. Okay. Last down candles before the boss break. Draw a box around it. Just like this. Draw a box around that. There's your area for the trade. Boom. Gap down. Maybe you can go into this and fine tune the risk a little bit, but you don't have to. Let's go to the 30-minute. Let's see where it was. Right there it was. So there's the 30-minute trade, right? You can gap in. You can't really see it's a little bit noisy. That's why I like to use, that's why I don't like to go down. I like to keep things clean. 60-minute trades, no more. Right? That is why when I saw that you all had the course, I had to take it. Exactly. Well, I'm telling you, this is where the real opportunity is, right? And so for me, I just know the power here. I know what this trade setup do. I know what the software is capable of doing. Now we're gonna have a class on this. Okay, so let me bring this back to full center here. Let's go back to the PowerPoint. Give me a second here. I'm gonna just load the PowerPoint. I'm on an ultra wide monitor, so I need to change my screen here. Okay. So how many of you guys are impressed with what I just showed you? I didn't even show you the point of control trade yet. I didn't show you this yet because I can show you all of them. I mean, it's just the VWAP's better. You're going to get a better trade off the VWAP. You're going to get a better trade off the order block. Truthfully, the point of control is okay, but it's not your king. So you can even pull it out if you want to, but it's all we're doing with this is if you get a point of control, like what we're doing with this is if you have a boss break, what we do is we wrap a profile from the anchor points to the anchor points, and we identify the point of control. But a lot of times it doesn't come back to the point of control. Sometimes it will. It'll give you a trade here. But I just find it doesn't always fill. So you do all the waiting and then you miss the trade. I'm here to tell you that I would rather just trade the setups that I know really, 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 really crush it. It's these bad boys here. So let's highlight the text a little bit. Yeah, these ones. These are the money makers. These are the big money makers. Yeah. And this one here, this one here. And the key is boss breaks. How many of you guys see the power of the boss software? Being able to identify the strong swing breaks and the strong structure, because there's a lot of noise going on in price action, but not every swing is created equal. Our software is designed to show you exactly the best break of structure. And then when you get a boss break, it's everything. That's all we care about is whenever you get the boss breaks, locate the trade setup and then take the win. I promise you're going to pass a ton of prop accounts and you're going to make a lot of money using this analogy. This is the way it works. And I've done this for years. And I've taught instructors this and they've run trading rooms and the statistics have been through the roof. So I just hope that you guys can learn to maximize this. Now, I don't expect you to get it overnight. So, like I said, there's a few things that you get access to. You get access to this course. Everything that I've just showed you is in the course. So you get the whole course. Now that's free, but even then, what we're going to do is we're going to do a strategy masterclass where we spend the entire session just going over this one after another, after another, after another, just drilling it in, just drilling it in. And that way you guys can watch it. Jim and I'll be there. Jeff will be there. Like there'll be a bunch of us there, right? So that's the goal. Okay. So are you guys excited? How many of you guys are excited? Oh yeah. This is fantastic. Yeah. Okay. Well, we're gonna give away a free license. Where's Jeff and Pete? Can you guys do me a favor and put Lady Luck on someone's side here?
You got it.
There's a link in the chat box, everybody. If you can click it, there's a link. Fill it out so we can pick a winner here. I'm gonna grab a glass of water here while I have a chance to save my throat. Yeah. The training is ultimately it's free. It's in the members area of Tickblaze's Academy. So all you got to do is just purchase the software. You get access to the trainings for free. Yeah. It will once we code the wrapper, Sharpshooter. Yeah, it's not available on the web just yet, but it will be. It will be eventually once we get all the wrapper finished. Yeah, all the software's coming over. It'll take time, but it's coming over. Yeah. Need the VC backing to get things cooking in order for everything to flow into place. All right. So, guys, fill out that link in the chat box. Jeffrey's just put that there, and you guys can then potentially win a license to this. I just get so excited teaching this stuff because I just know how it works. Like I just know like how well this works, right?
Only halfway there, guys. Anybody that wants a license, answer the survey. I'll put it in the chat box again.
No, this is not part of the boot camp, Steve. On Tuesday we did a webinar, totally different topics, guys. I have no problem going over some of this in that class, but they're two separate methodologies. Yeah, two separate methodologies. But I'll tell you what's going to happen is in that boot camp, we're going to be teaching you indicator timing lessons that are going to help you with these levels. So if you're in that boot camp, I promise you some of the stuff we're going to be teaching you is going to help you with these big areas of interest. Yeah. Mhm. All right, let's pick a winner, Jeff. Who do we got?
We have Rain Pendarvis.
Cool. Never heard of Rain Pendarvis before. A new trader. That's great. Always interested in having new traders come in the network. Where are we at here?
Rain
Rain
here.
is Rain here? Rain Pendarvis. Hey, Rain, congratulations. You've just won the license. You've just won the software. So congratulations. Lady Luck is on your side and hope you enjoy that. And wow. Yeah, everybody. I love to see everybody saying congratulations, guys. It's really good sportsmanship. I think that's fantastic. Yeah. Okay, so as you know, we have lots of tools. Very few will ever do this. Now, you know me, we're going to keep selling software and we're going to keep launching products and we're going to keep having tools. This tool will help you with every product you ever use. Why? Because I suggest adding the boss breaks on every chart you ever look at. I personally feel that when you use boss breaks on any chart, it will show you where the best moves are going to be. Why? Because it's how the market responds to market structure. And as I said, market structure is the foundation to everything. And so I really, really hope you guys find value in this and really enjoy the concepts that I've taught you today because I really do believe that they can make you a lot of money. I mean, we've gone through example after example after example. If you just follow what I was showing you and you come to the strategy class, which we're going to be having, that's going to be great. Now, are you guys okay if we go over pricing for the system and the software and then talk about the classes and everything? You guys good with that? Yeah. It is available on NinjaTrader. Yes, we do have a license on NinjaTrader. So Pete, if I'm not mistaken, Pete, you have a license for that. You have a link for anybody that wants to buy the link, the software from NinjaTrader, correct?
Yeah, it's the going to be the all-in-one
Yeah.
subscription.
Yeah. So what I can do is if there's anybody in, it's not available on TradingView. We have this on Tickblaze and we have this on NinjaTrader. So here's the thing. If you want the software on Tickblaze or NinjaTrader, you have to buy a license, right? If you want to buy a license on Tickblaze, anybody that already owns it on NinjaTrader, because we do have some existing customers, we will give you a coupon as well. So let me just go over the pricing, okay? So let me explain this. Let me grab the cursor. So bear with me here. I'm going to go through all this. Okay, so bear with me. I'm going to explain a few things. So this includes the software and indicators. All of the strategies we're going to be going over in the actual class with you, just like I was doing today. Today's is a primer. We're going to spend several hours doing strategy analysis bar by bar. We have documentation on it. It's a one-time license, so you don't have to pay. You do not have to pay for multiple licenses, et cetera, et cetera. We have pre-built desktops, which we can give you. We will help you install it. And as I said, we will be going over the strategies inside of the strategy course. Now, one thing I want to tell you is that you're also getting the SMC course. So everybody here that buys the software is going to get the course for free. We will give you access to the Tickblaze Academy, correct, Pete? So anybody in here that buys this software is going to get the SMC course, and the SMC course is a part of our Tickblaze Academy. On top of that, what we're doing is normally this would be $12.95. We would give you 70% off. But anybody here that is buying in this event, that is basically participating in this webinar and this event, who's registered for this product, we're giving you an additional $400 off. So what that means is we're scrapping this and your price is $895. Now, if you have a license for this software on NinjaTrader already and you want it on Tickblaze, we will send you another coupon for an additional discount because obviously you've bought it on NinjaTrader and you want to use it on Tickblaze, right? So just watch your email on that. And yeah. Now, does everybody understand this? I know that sometimes during discounts and price drops, everybody kind of gets confused. I want to be very clear. We are giving you 70% off plus an extra $400 off, which means your price is $895. Does that make sense to everybody? Type a yes in the chat box if that makes sense to you guys. Okay. Now, we are going to be doing an AMA, and that's for indicator training. We're going to be doing a strategy class. Okay. We're going to be doing a strategy class. Now, we've never done this before. Now, the reason I want to do this is because I believe that if I can hold you by the hand for a couple hours and we can show you these trade setups, our trading team is going to basically help you. Now, Jess is asking if we own Arc, do we get the additional discount? Yes, if you own the software on Arc and you want to buy a license for Tickblaze, you'll get a coupon just sent to your email. So yes, absolutely, you get an additional discount. Yes. Now, this masterclass is different than an AMA. You also get the AMA. The AMA is a part of the tool. That every tool gets an AMA, but this is specifically for strategies and education and trading. So this is something we're trying something new. We're going to give this away for free. It's part of the value proposition of buying the software so that we can help you become better traders with the tools. Yeah. And so this is the AMA. Okay. The AMA will be on Friday, and I think the strategy class is next Friday. I believe so. The strategy session will be next Friday, if I'm not mistaken. We got to check that out. But we'll send you an email with the date. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up a poll because I need to know where everybody's at. It helps our team help everybody. We pull these polls so we can send the emails. Can you guys please do me a favor and just let me know if you're planning on buying? It'll be very important so we can send the coupons, make sure that we can do the strategy classes with you, send you the links to these. I really just need to know, guys, if you're planning on purchasing because it will help us really help you guys. And while you guys fill out the poll, I'll answer some questions. And then what I'm going to do after we're getting through these questions, I'm going to stop the recorded and I'm going to show you a demo of the all new web platform that's coming. Are you guys excited? I am. Yeah. Arthur, just email Pete and Pete can help you with that. Anything to do with ARC and the NinjaTrader licensing, just send an email in and we will help you get squared away. Yeah. Can you guys do me a favor and please fill out the poll? I've got only 30% of you have answered the poll. If it's a yes, great. If it's a no, hey, we understand. Hopefully through these webinars, we can help you come to a tool that you really feel connected with, or, just maybe it just takes time. It's not the right time, but just please do me a favor and answer yes or no. It really helps me gear um, the education around helping you. We can get you guys the links. Yeah. Coupons don't stack. Yeah. So we don't stack coupons. Yeah. We don't do that on the launches. Yeah. Yeah. No problem, sharpshooter. We got you, brother. Yeah. Great to hear from you, man. Hope you're doing well. Absolutely. Yeah, physio has been a long haul. Can everybody do me a favor? I got 43% of the audience has answered the poll. That means a lot of you guys are either thinking, humming and hawing, or filling out the poll now, or you're doing something. But I really just need an answer so that we can send the right emails to you guys. It helps us help you. It's really for our support team. Yeah. Yeah. Great. Yeah, and anybody that's requested a call back, Jeffrey's going to be calling you back today after the event and helping you with this. So don't worry. We'll make sure that you get somebody on our team assisting with that and getting in touch with you. I promise you this is going to be fun because I just know what the software can do, right? Like I just, there's tools that we build and it's like, it's not meant for everybody. And this is really meant for everybody. I think that this is something that everybody should be understanding because there's crazy good trades that can be had off the boss breaks. Like it's just such an amazing piece of software. Yeah. It's all you need. It's such an amazing tool. Yeah. Absolutely. I've just seen so many traders change their lives using this type of methodology. Yeah. It's been so amazing. Yeah. Great. Well, we've got a lot of people answering the poll, so thank you for that. I appreciate that. Does anybody have any leftover questions before we carry on? Just so you know, Tickblaze is free. You don't have to pay for it. You can download it for free. And would you guys like to see a quick teaser of the all new web platform? We launch the web platform next week for the beta release. So we're launching the beta release next week. And would you guys like to see our new web trading platform that's going live? It's pretty exciting. And just to note, the tools are not yet compatible because the web platforms are built in JavaScript and the desktop applications are built in C Sharp. But we're coding a code wrapper that allows us to be able to bring some of the tools in and make the marketplace products available in the web. And the goal is to obviously launch the web first, make sure it's stable and everybody's happy. And then once it's out, then we can start bringing in the marketplace products, which is going to be exciting. So with your guys' permission, let me know if you guys want to see it. Yes? Absolutely. Okay. So let's do that. If you have any other questions for the presentation, just let us know. And yeah, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to show you the web trader. So this is the Tickblaze web trader. So we're going to go in here now and yeah, so it's pretty exciting. Let's go through this and let's just start from scratch. So let's just start a new demo. Let's do a new workspace. Okay, so we'll call this a webinar demo. All right, here we go. Okay, so let's hit the trade pad. So this is where it all starts, right? So basically you can see here we have a blank canvas and you just hit new panel. You can add a chart and then here we can add a watch list. We can add the watch list to the chart. Let's just bring the chart over. Let's drag it over. And it's really good for drag and drop. And we're going to just grab an ES chart. We're going to link it. And let's do this. Now they're still making some updates. Yeah, no, there's no need. I don't need to stop recording. I mean, we're doing a web demo here. That's fine. And so let's do this. I'm going to add a chart right here. Chart. Now, if it doesn't work 150%, it's because they're doing updates to the servers. I've tried a couple times to do demos and yeah, let's see here. So grab a chart and let's see. So let me just log out and log back in. That may help here just because so give me a second here, guys. Let's just log in here. They're going to add a chart. There we go. There it is. Sometimes you just got to log out, log back in. It solves all problems, you know. There it is. So there's the watch list. And so let me just kind of explain some of the things. Like, so we have a partnership with TradingView. And what we've done is, I'm just going to link the symbol to the chart. So there it is. Let's just grab the NASDAQ. So let's grab the NQ and let's go down to, let's say, a 5-minute chart. And let's just do that here. So here's the 5-minute chart. So what's going to happen is, hey, thanks, Michael. If you just purchased the web, yeah, thanks for purchasing the software. I'm sure you'll be happy with it. So what's really cool here, and this is for all prop accounts and for prop firms using it. So up here, you've got the trade pad. You click on trade. Now you have to select an account. So we have a few prop firms that are launching on this. So you'll see here's a bunch of PST accounts I've got selected. So I can just click on the chart and I've got the ability for market, limit, stop orders, or we have a scalp pad. We're adding a few buttons here that'll be ready for next week. So like a few other things that haven't been finished, but it's just coming. And what's really cool is that we've got some really cool prop features. So you see we have a drawdown line up here that when you're in a position, you can click that and you'll see the drawdown. So if you're in a trade in this, it'll read your drawdown line. You don't have to worry about hitting your drawdown and failing the account. So this will be really exciting. The other thing too is that we are using 2 instances of the platform. So what that means is I can use TradingView for different charting like this, but I could also use different widgets. So I can build different charts and I can move them around. And so you have the ability of using TradingView's modular interface or our modular interface. On top of that, we've built a quantity toggle up here so that you can just say, let's say I want to do 5 contracts. I can right click and I can do right click trading on the chart. We've got a quantity selector built into the platform for fast trading. So let's say you're not really looking here and you just want to trade, boom, buy and sell, and you just want to use a quantity. We've got that. On top of that, if you're running a live stream for influencers or you don't want to see your trading balance, you can hide your P&L, so to speak, for filming videos. We have a kill switch up here that is for all trade copier functioning. Let's talk about the trade copier. So down at the bottom,
What?
oh, someone's mic here. Someone's mic is going, guys. I think that was Pete. Anyways, if you look here, I click on trade copier. So if I click on trade copier, it's going to open up the trade copiers. Now the trade copiers are built in. So I can just click here, and I can scroll down and here's all the unassigned accounts. I can drag and drop them into the trade copiers, just like in the desktop application. One of our claim to fame is that we've built a very, very intuitive trade copier that's identical to the desktop application. So if you use the trade copier in the desktop app, you'll find this just like a walk in the park. It's the same copier. It's just built into the web. This was a very big lift for us to be able to get this. But what's nice is that it's built into the platform. And what's really cool about our trade copier is it's one centralized login. So we have a bunch of prop firms going on to Tickblaze right now. And if you buy accounts for each of those different prop firms, you'll see them here in the drop down. You'll see Prop Shop Trader, Elite Trader Funding, Blue Sky, Prop Account, Funded Next, all the different firms that we're getting ready to work with. And so what's nice is that you'll be able to just log into one login and you get all the accounts. You don't have to have connections and different account logins. So you can literally multi-prop from one login, which is, wow, it's incredible. It's a gift. It's a dream. And so on top of that, we have kill switches up here, and you can flatten everything, kill everything. Now, here's the real power. We've got trading journals built in for all your analytics. So you'll be able to see here like your trades, and if you've got trades and you're basically looking at the different stats. I don't have any trades for this, but you've got a journal, and then you've got your trade history, so you can see your day trade summaries, open positions, performance metrics. So if you want to study your daily performance, your performance by day of week, and if you want to look at your max adverse excursion analysis, you've got an entire trading journal in here. I'll show you what it looks like. Like I have another account that I just purposely failed. We're testing the accounts. And essentially what that means is if I go in and I look at the account, I can just see the data. I can come in here and see the trades, right? And I can see the information. And basically, I can go to the trade history, pull the trades, see the trades. Like it's really, really amazing. Like it's just super, super intuitive. But yeah, we also have a link to the community, video playlist, just a bunch of just resources up here. And then you can basically go in here to your settings and you can change the master settings, different languages. You can make the fonts bigger or smaller based off of the actual settings of the platform. It's just, yeah, I think most people are going to be really, really excited with what we've built. And it's going to be the future for multi-prop and for people that want to trade on a dome, or they want to trade on a, they want to trade on a tablet, or they want to trade on a Mac, so this is really exciting. And yeah, so this goes live. You can come in here, go settings, canvas. You can use gradient backgrounds. It's really kind of exciting, remove the grids, and you can really, really cool charting. And for me personally, I think it's really, really intuitive that you'll be able to trade on both the desktop and the web. And Frank says, this is the best platform I've ever seen. Well, it'll be fun to trade on. I mean, there's a lot of other platforms out there, but I think we're pretty amazing. Yeah, Frank, so thanks. But so let me explain how indicators work. So if you click up here to indicators, these are all the indicators that are built into the platform, okay? Now, this is not the marketplace. Let me explain a few things. Yes, you can use VWAP. Yes, you can use volume profile. Yes, you can use all of your different indicators. Yes, you can do all that, okay? But the thing is that that's in JavaScript. All of the indicators that have been built inside of Tickblaze's marketplace are in C#. Now, a limitation of TradingView is it's in JavaScript, and all of the other platforms don't really have a solution for custom scripts. We do. We've built a code wrapper that allows us to bring our marketplace indicators into the web. So right after we launch the marketplace, the web platform, the next course of action is going to be for us to bring in the actual code wrapper, and then we'll start to be able to bring in all of our marketplace scripts so that anybody that's using marketplace indicators can get a license for the web. And then that way it'll be really, really, really amazing. I mean, we'll be the first web platform in the industry to accomplish that. Yeah. So TradingView indicators would not work in here, Joe, because TradingView indicators are made in PineScript, and you have to use TradingView's platform. This is Tickblaze's platform using TradingView's charting infrastructure. Yeah. Now we're using the advanced package. We have the best of the best with TradingView. We have a partnership with them, and it's a big partnership. Yeah. So, but I'm really excited because this is the future of prop firms on Tickblaze. You'll be able to use the trade copiers and be able to trade. It'll be pretty sexy because you can basically place trades, and you can use chart traders up here, and you can sell, and you can drag and drop your stop losses and plan your take profits, and you can do everything in here. It's very sexy. We have built the entire infrastructure. And we're really excited because next week we launch the beta. And we'll also be adding a few things, like there'll be a drawdown line up here so you'll know your drawdown and all that fun stuff. Yeah. So really, really exciting. I'm really proud of our team and I'm really proud of what we've been able to accomplish. But how many of you guys think this is pretty cool? I do. I think it's really badass. Oh yeah. Right. Kenneth wants to know, can I trade my code my own indicators? Maybe. We're working on an import function right now to allow external indicators into the system. For now, the most priority is making sure it's launched and stable and everything works for all the prop OMS infrastructure. But yeah, then it'll be all about the scripts. Yeah, right. And being able to just go in here and add whatever you want. You can RSIs. You want to go in and add indicators. You want to go here and add Bollinger Bands. You want to do some cool stuff. Like, we've got pretty big infrastructure here, but it's for us to add all of our marketplace scripts, that's the priority for us because we have a lot of resources that we've built. And um, no, and this is for all prop firms. We have not built integrations for brokers, and we are not actually. We may integrate with multi-asset brokers like TradeStation or Interactive Brokers or whatnot, but for right now, our entire audience are prop firms. Yeah, it's our primary focus. Yeah. So. Anyways, guys, hope you enjoyed the presentation. I know I really hope you guys enjoyed everything we're doing and just everything we're building here. And hopefully you guys enjoy the SMC. The SMC software is it's pretty amazing. And I think that for those of you that are planning on trading with us, this is incredible list of strategies. Like incredible. You could give me any market right now and I can load a chart on a boss break and show you exactly where the big trade is going to be. And I think that after one class with us, you'll be able to do the exact same thing as well. So, all right. I think that's it, traders. Have a fantastic day, and we'll see you in the MA and we'll see you in the strategy class. Take care, traders, and we'll see you guys in the next event. Take care.